Hello and welcome back to Precious Memory Box's Junk Journaling. My name is Bobby, and today we are going to make a small journal, 5x7, and we're going to try a new binding. I have never done this binding before, but I wanted to give it a try, and so we're going to try it together. And this will be my first time, so we will have to see how it goes. But what you will need is, I grabbed a piece of 12x12 cardstock, and I cut one piece at 3x9 inches and one piece at 3x10 inches. And then you want to score it, and I did one of them, but I left the other one. You want to score it at 1 inch all the way down. Before I forget, this is a design team project from Scrapbooking with Me. And this kit is called Vintage Christmas. It's a beautiful kit. I showed a preview of it in a previous video. And it has 30 pages. It has 10 journaling pages, beautiful pages that we're going to use. And then it has 10 background pages. So I put all the background pages on the opposite side of the journaling pages. Let's go ahead. We'll set this over here to the side for a moment, and we'll go ahead and finish scoring. So I'm going to line this up and score it at 1 inch intervals. Now, if you're not familiar with Scrapbooking with Me, she is on YouTube. She's been on for many years. I'm sure you've probably seen Edith, and also her daughter Melina has a channel. They also have an online shop called Scrapbooking with Me where you can order lots of supplies. They also have an Etsy shop where you can order many of their printables. They have a wonderful selection of printables, so you might want to go check that out. And they're a very wonderful, loving family. And I just love Miss E. I think I've been watching her for at least 3 years now, maybe longer. And so she does a lot of different journals and, pieces of ephemera and everything. She's probably made it. If you haven't seen it, just watch her channel, and I'm sure she's made it at some point on her channel. Okay, an important thing with this binding is that you make sure that your end points, your end papers are sticking up, okay? And then you're going to glue this together. You can glue it, or you can use tape if you want. Score it like score tape. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it because I didn't bring any score tape in here with me. But I'll glue those together. Okay, and while that's drying, let me go ahead and we'll set that over there and let that dry. Wipe some of that excess glue off. We're going to take a look. I had, like I said, there are 10 papers. I kept 2 of them to cover the journal in with. And then the other 8 will go inside. So we have that. And what I'm using to give it a little more stability is I have these bingo cards. So I'm going to go ahead and use those. And let's see. We are going to glue them down. And I'm using the one sheet that is like a collage sheet made up of all the other designs. So I'm going to glue these on the back. And then we'll just trim them out. And I'm going to look real quick. I guess it doesn't really matter exactly where I have them. So we're going to go ahead and glue these down. I'm wondering, let's do this. Let's do something a little different. Maybe we'll leave that we'll leave the bingo board side up. And we will cover the blank side here. And maybe we can do something to make our bingo board side more Christmassy. We'll just have to kind of explore what we're doing here and see what we can do. Okay, so I've got that one on. I'm going to press it down. And then, yeah, let's cover this side. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. It's Sunday. And it is cold here today. It is sweatshirt weather for sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Try to get it even. Okay. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to cut around this. If I'm going to, fold and try to fold these edges over. I don't really have enough on each side. So, I think we're just going to trim it. And maybe I'll come back and cover the insides later. Because I think I'm one paper short. Maybe I'll count my papers. Maybe I've got it mixed in with those. And actually, we do need to cut these apart. I'll show you because of the type of binding that we're using. We won't be sewing in our signature. We will be doing kind of like an accordion type of signature. I'm kind of excited to try this binding method. Hopefully it works well. Okay, so we got that one done. That's going to be either our front or back. I don't think it will matter because we're using a collage one, so we just pick the one we like the best for the front. There we go. Okay. So now what we need to do is we're going to take these signatures, and let me count real quick how many we have. We got 1, 2. It's hard to get them to do as I want to. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. So no, somewhere I'm missing a piece. I'll have to find out what I did with it. That's all right. We can always grab another piece of, we'll grab some tea stain dyed paper and put on there. But what we're going to do first for this type of binding is we need to cut a hole in the center of them about halfway. And I'm going to use my scoreboard to kind of be the channel for me. And I'm going to mark, so I have a 0 ruler where it has a 0 in the center. So I'm going to find the center of this paper. Okay. I might turn it this way and I'll be able to see easier. I think my ruler has some glue on it. There we go. Okay. All right. And we are going to mark it 1 inch from the center on both sides. Grab my pin here if I can get a hold of it. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little dot here. So we're going to put a dot there and a dot here, but it's going to have to be longer than that, so let me check here. And you want to make it just a little bit wider than your slit here, so that you can easily move that in and out. And I'm going to try to do a couple at a time. We'll see how that works. Okay, and I'm just going to use one of the little canals here to help me. And we're just going to cut through that. You can do this on your self-healing mat if you want, but this kind of helps keep you in a channel here. Okay, and let's test it, see if we got through both. And let's see if our, so you're going to leave this piece, and you're going to take the next one and slide it on your first one. I'm just testing right now, and we'll finish getting all of those done. But you're going to slide it gently up through here. It looks like I might have to cut it just a tad bit more. So let's cut that just a tad bit more. Just to make it easier to get our thing through there. Okay. And there you go. Okay. So we'll do that. Oops, I'm doing it upside down. Let's turn that around. Okay. Now I'm using just paper weight. You may want to use a lightweight cardstock just to make it a little sturdier. But I just wanted to use paperweight papers. Okay, let's see this one. We're going to turn this way. And we're going to fold. And then add this one in there. There we go. And there's our next one. Okay. So, make sure I get that all the way on there. There we go. All right. And so when you open them, you're going to have this extra flap here. And we will do something fun with that. This flap we will use to connect to our covers. Okay? So let me go ahead and finish cutting each of these. Oops, sorry. That's where's my paper go? Oh, here it is. Let me finish doing each of these, and then we'll come right back and we'll get those, get them all glued on, and you can see what it looks like with that signature. So give me just one moment and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. We're going to go ahead. I've got my papers here, and we are going to, let's see, I'm trying to remember how you do this. We're going to, we're not gluing that on. I was thinking we'd glue that on, but we don't. Okay, so we're going to add each of our papers. Okay, and let's see, I need to turn these over. This one's not going to be perfect because it's my first one ever doing this too, so I'm learning it right along with you guys. Let's see. Okay, let's turn it this way. There we go. That's a little easier going that direction. Oh, I've got to pay attention to make sure I'm putting these on right side. Let's see. Yes, there we go. Okay. There we go. We're going to fold that over. Grab this one. Make sure it's right side up. Okay. Okay, I didn't cut that one quite enough, so let me cut it just a little more. I'd rather do that than tear it. So, okay. There we go. Here's our next one. You know, when you watch someone do these on other videos, you think, that looks pretty easy. I can do that. But sometimes it's more complicated than you think. There we go. That one went on nicely. All right. I would say I was trying to use that Tim Holtz ruler, but if you just measure from the top, kind of get your cut in the center, you could probably do it just as easily that way and not worry about trying to line it all up on that ruler. Okay, let's see, we have 2 more to go here. Now you could use any color you want for this binding, but I thought the red would look really good with it since it's Christmassy. Okay, and one more. All right, there we go. All right, let's see what this looks like. So we're just going to straighten it up there a little bit. And there's our binding, and we're going to have to, we'll push those in a little bit more. I think if we make sure they're pushed in when we glue on the tops, then we will have a very nice and even journal, as you can see. And let's take a look at our tops. Now this might be the hard part, is gluing this on. And I'm really kind of thinking of leaving this for now and maybe covering it with something else. So I think what I'm going to do is, there might be an easier way to do this, but I'm just going to line it up, oops, the best I can, hopefully. Try to get that glue off that other one so we don't glue our pages together there. I'm just going to line it up here, and then I'm going to lay that over there and go ahead and fold that down and try to, you have a few seconds usually with the glue to move it, but not much longer. So there we go. We're going to glue that, and now we're going to do the same with our back one. Okay. Going to add glue here. All right, and I'm going to do the best I can to line it up with the paper. And there we go. Okay, now we're going to have to give that a moment to dry. But it's a no-sew binding, and I think, you know, once you did it a few times, it seems like a pretty simple binding. You just kind of have to get your own method of how you want to do the cutting on your papers. But let's take a look. So there is our cover. Here is our binding. As you can see, it's got a little give, which is good in case you want to add tags and different things. And then let's flip this way. So we've got our cover there. Okay, that's a little loose there, but maybe next time I'll get a little stronger. Or I could take, if you want to add a little more strength to it, is take some Christmas washi and put right along there. And maybe I've got something I'm going to do with these. Maybe once I do that, that'll help give it a little strength too. So, but that's the only thing that's kind of loose, is I've got that, oops, we'll just tear that off. I've got that a little loose in between them, but they're not coming apart. And when we get done with the next part, that'll make an even stronger binding. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and do, I'll show you what I want to do with those little inside parts so that you can cover them up. And in part of this kit are some journaling cards. So we've got these journaling cards here. We've got these larger ones. We've also got tags. We could put the tags. So there's lots of choices here of what we could use. Love those too. So let's see, which ones do we want to use? Let's cut out a few of these. Let me grab my scissors. Okay. Oh, look there. We've got even some more there. So okay, so let's trim these up. Okay, all right. So now we're going to take these. Now you could round the corners or anything like that if you want. I think I'm going to leave them straight. And we're going to come in here. We're going to press this down and make sure, you know, that it is secure. And then we're going to add these on each side of it so that we have like a little card in the center. Okay? So let's go ahead and we will add some glue here. Okay, and let's glue the first one on. And I'm going to just try to center it the best I can. Okay. All right. So there's that one. Okay. And then this one now, you can do a couple different things. You can glue it on completely so that it turns back and forth together. You can glue it on this side and this side, and this side, and have a pocket at the top so that you can have a tag or something in there. So let's do that. We will do it three-sided. It's going to have to be a narrower tag, or you can leave, not glue this portion right here since you've already got that glued, if you want to make it easier to slide something in, or you can glue it to that. And then you would have to, if you wanted to leave it as a pocket, you would have to put something very thin in it. Okay, so let's line this up. And something I didn't do that you might want to do is make sure your cards that you want to use together are lined up before you do this. Like you may need to trim them a little bit so that they're exactly the same size. Like you can see mine are a little off. That's okay. We will use a little bit of ink, and we will just ink those edges when we come back. And there you go. So we've got a fun little flip, and this one is actually a pocket. So I will cut out a tag and add that to it. So I'm going to real quick off camera trim up some more of those and get them ready, and go ahead and add them in here, and then we will come back and we can add some of the embellishments to it. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I've got most of the little extra pieces glued in, and I thought I'd just turn back on the camera what I did the last two. And I also had these bigger pieces, so I'm going to use them as pockets too, because they'll have more room to slide things in and out of. So let's go ahead, let's decide which one we want to be the front, which one the back. Let's do the green one the front. Okay. go ahead and glue that down there. And then on this side, I'm just going to glue the 3 sides. A little extra glue here just to keep it reinforced, but that'll still leave plenty of room to slide a pocket, or I'm sorry, a tag or something like that into. Some ephemera pieces or just anything. Uh-oh, I wasn't supposed to do it there. Let's see if I can get that off there. Hopefully if I don't press down too hard, that won't glue down. So we'll try to be very gentle there. Okay, I'm going to try to line this up the best I can and try to keep my fingers away from the top. And maybe I can take a little miscellaneous piece here and slide it in there to just keep it from, keep that spot open. There we go. We're going to glue this down right here. Okay, and so we've got that. That is going to be a pocket, and you can kind of see how a tag will slide in and out of there. All right, and then we're going to do our last one here. All right. It's really pretty easy to do. You just want to, you know, kind of keep your paper straight and add enough glue there. Put it at the opening but not in the opening, so it'll be easier for you to turn. Okay. And if you need to pull back a little bit and you see a little bit of red, that's all right. At least that way you know it'll turn in there easier. Okay. All right, and now we're going to glue this side. And I did try to pair my tags, my little journaling card tags up, and kind of like trim them so they'd be as close to each other as possible. But if something's not quite lined up, we can always do a little ink around it. All right, and so I'm going to glue that one together. I just love all these cards and everything in this kit. So you get 10, again, you get 10 pages of journaling pages. You get 10 background pages, and then you get 10 pages of ephemera. So there's quite a bit in this kit. Now I want to create a tie on this before I add anything here. So I'm thinking about using this ribbon that I have here, and I'm just going to try to leave enough that we can tie a bow when we're all done and have a little extra room in case we add things to the journal and they get chunky. So okay. All right, so I'm going to use, I'm going to use a little bit of Fabri-Tac here for the ribbon part. And I have the lines on here to kind of help me line stuff up, so that'll be good. So I'm going to, glue is always plugged up. Okay, let's try. There we go. And we're just going to try to line that up with the top of that line there. There we go. Press that down, and we'll have to let it dry. And then we'll be covering that with something else. And let's go to the back and do that side. And we will do it the same way. Let me turn it this way. And so and this should be pretty closely lined up. All right. And let's take a look here. Perfect. That worked out perfectly. And so now we have enough room to tie a bow or tie a knot, however we want to do it. We've got our binding here. I think that's all we'll do on this video, and we will come back next week and I will finish the journal up. We will add some tags, maybe a few pockets, you know, a tuck spot or two, and cover these up and decorate our front. I'm really loving the front, so I may not do too much with it. Maybe just find something simple we can maybe add to the front, but I don't want to over embellish it. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to Miss E and Melina and all the Scrapbooking with Me family for allowing me to work with their kits. I love them. And just to give you guys a quick flip through of what we've got so far. And then next week we will come back and finish it. So thank you and have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time. Bye.